Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're living out a story that you didn't write? Like you keep meeting the same kind of person, facing the same challenges? Almost as if you're a character in a play, and someone else is holding the script? Maybe you find yourself drawn to the same type of romantic partner, clashing with the same type of boss, or playing the exact same role in your group of friends, over and over again. It's a frustrating, even maddening feeling to be trapped in a loop. What if I told you that you're not crazy? You are living out a story. We all are. But the script isn't held by some external cosmic force. It's written deep within our own psyche, in a universal language of symbols and patterns we all instinctively share. Tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden inner world. We're going to explore the invisible forces that shape your identity, your relationships, and the very narrative of your life. We're going to talk about archetypes. And by the end of this, you won't just understand the story you've been living. You'll finally be ready to hold the pen. So, what exactly is an archetype? The term was made famous by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, but the idea itself is as old as stories are. Think of archetypes as universal, primal blueprints for experience that exist in what Jung called the collective unconscious. Now, that sounds heavy, so let's make it simple. The collective unconscious is the shared reservoir of memories and instincts we've inherited from all of human history. It's the psychic bedrock we all stand on, whether we know it or not. Imagine our individual minds are islands. The part we see above the water is our conscious self, our personal memories, our unique thoughts. But deep beneath the surface, all those separate islands are connected by the same vast ocean floor. That ocean floor, the collective unconscious. And the archetypes, they're the great mountain ranges, the deep valleys, and the powerful currents that exist down there. They are the source code for human experience. The hero, the mother, the trickster, the sage. These aren't just movie characters. They are living psychic potentials inside every single one of us. These archetypal patterns aren't fully formed ideas. They're more like empty frames or predispositions. Our life experience then rushes in to fill them. For instance, the mother archetype is a universal potential for nurturing and creation. For you, that frame might be filled by your biological mother. For someone else, it might be a grandmother, a mentor, or even a profound connection to nature. The archetype is the mold. Personal experience is the clay. This is precisely why myths and fairy tales from completely different cultures feel so strangely familiar. They're all drawing water from the same ancient well. Now, this is where it gets deeply personal, because these archetypes aren't just out there in stories. They are active, living forces inside of you. They are the cast of characters in your internal drama, the inner council that debates every move you make. To understand them is to be handed a map to your own soul. And the first archetype we all meet, the one on the very surface, is the persona. The persona is your social mask. It's the curated version of yourself you present to the world. It's your professional self at work, your fun friend self on a Friday night, your dutiful child self with your parents. The name itself comes from the Latin word for the masks worn by actors in ancient theater. This mask isn't inherently false. It's a necessary tool for navigating a complex social world. It helps us fit in and function. But here's the danger, especially in our modern world of perfectly curated social media feeds. The problem arises when we mistake the mask for our actual face. We invest so much energy into crafting the perfect persona, the successful entrepreneur, the world traveler, the flawless parent, that we forget who we are when the audience is gone. Jung called this identification with the persona. You become so fused with the role you play that your authentic self, with all its beautiful, messy, contradictory humanity, begins to wither. You know that feeling of being completely drained after a day of social interaction, even if it was fun. That's the exhaustion of holding up the mask. It takes psychic energy to be on all the time. The journey toward a real life begins with the courage to ask, who am I when no one is watching? Acknowledging your persona is the first step. It's seeing that the role you play is just that, a role. It's a part of you, but it is not the I assume of you. But here's the secret. The moment you start to question the mask, you inevitably come face to face with what it was designed to hide. You meet the second, and perhaps the most powerful archetype of all, the shadow. The shadow is the duffel bag we all carry, stuffed with everything about ourselves we have repressed, denied, or feel ashamed of. It's our dark side, our greed, our irrational anger, our selfishness, our forbidden fantasies. It's the part of us we swear doesn't exist, even to ourselves. We all have a shadow. It's a natural result of being raised in a society. From childhood, we are taught that some feelings are good and others are bad. But the bad parts don't just vanish. We shove them into the basement of our psyche. The shadow is the troll that lives in that basement. And the more we ignore it, the louder it bangs on the cellar door. This is the source of those shocking outbursts of rage that seem to come from nowhere, or the self-sabotaging behaviors that defy all our conscious goals. It's the shadow, demanding to be acknowledged. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Think about projection. Have you ever been irrationally irritated or judgmental about a specific trait in someone else? Maybe you just can't stand people you see as arrogant, or lazy, or desperate for attention. Jung would say that very often. The things that infuriate us most in others are the disowned parts of our own shadow. We cast our darkness onto them like a movie projector so we don't have to see it in ourselves. It's always easier to be a critic of their movie than the director of our own. But, and this is the part that could change your life, the shadow is not evil. This is the most common and dangerous mistake we make. In Jung's words, the shadow is 90% pure gold, because hidden in that darkness, alongside our flaws, are our greatest and most vital strengths. It contains our repressed creativity, our healthy aggression, our life-saving assertiveness, and our raw, primal connection to life. The artist who was told their passion was a foolish dream. The woman taught that nice girls don't get angry. Their power, their fire, is locked away in the shadow. Shadow work isn't about destroying the shadow. That's impossible. It's about integrating it. It means turning around, walking to that cellar door, unlocking it, and having a conscious conversation with the troll inside. It's the courage to admit, yes, a part of me is capable of envy. A part of me can be lazy. A part of me is angry. By consciously owning these traits, you strip them of their unconscious power over you. You can then harness their energy. That anger can become fuel for justice. That ambition can be channeled into a noble cause. You become a whole person, not just a good, fragile one. Now, as we become more familiar with our persona and our shadow, we can start to sense an even deeper layer of the soul. This brings us to the archetypes of the Anima and Animus, some of Jung's most beautiful and complex ideas. Simply put, the Anima is the unconscious feminine soul image in a man, and the Animus is the unconscious masculine soul image in a woman. They represent the inner other whose union makes us whole. For a man, the Anima is not about being feminine. It is the source of his capacity for relationship, his emotional depth, his creativity, his intuition, his inner muse. A man cut off from his Anima may appear hyper-rational, emotionally walled off, and creatively sterile. He might struggle to form deep connections because he has devalued the very part of himself responsible for them. For a woman, the Animus represents her capacity for logic, reason, focused action and assertiveness in the world. A woman with an undeveloped animus might feel deeply insecure about her own intellect, struggle to make decisions, or find it impossible to bring her dreams into reality. She might feel a sense of vague, passive longing, but lack the focused drive to pursue her goals. And if this is how these archetypes write the story of our love lives, Jung believed that we often project our anima or animus onto a real person. This is the lightning bolt of falling in love. A man projects his idealized inner woman, his anima, onto a partner and is utterly captivated. A woman projects her idealized inner man, her animus, and feels an irresistible magnetic pull. This projection is what creates the magical soulmate feeling of new romance. You feel you finally found your other half. But what happens when the projection shatters, as it always does? The magical god or goddess is revealed to be a real, flawed, annoying, beautiful human being. This is the make or break moment in every relationship. If the individuals haven't done the inner work to connect with their own anima or animus, they'll blame their partner for not being the person I fell in love with. Then they'll go looking for a new person to carry the projection, starting the loop all over again. The real work of love is to withdraw the projection, build a relationship with the actual person, and simultaneously build a relationship with your own inner counterpart. Integrating the anima or animus means a man consciously developing his own capacity for feeling and empathy. It means a woman consciously developing her own voice and independent reason. This inner marriage leads to profound psychological wholeness. You no longer desperately need someone else to complete you, because you are actively completing yourself. And from that place, you can build a relationship based on true partnership, not unconscious dependency. All of this work, integrating the persona, the shadow, the anima animus, is leading somewhere. It leads to the emergence of a new center of the personality. Jung called this ultimate archetype the self. The self is not your ego. The ego is just the center of your conscious mind, the captain of your little boat. The self is the center of your total psyche, conscious and unconscious. It's the wise, guiding intelligence of the whole system. The self is the entire ocean. The self often appears in dreams and myths as a divine child, a philosopher's stone, a mandala, or a wise old man or woman, the sage. It is the wisest part of you, your inner guru, the quiet voice of your truest calling. Connecting with it is the goal of what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming an individual, an undivided whole. It is the lifelong journey of becoming the person you were always meant to be, before the world told you who you should be. So, we've journeyed through the deep structure of the psyche. But how does this show up in the actual stories we live and tell? This is where the narrative archetypes come in. The hero, the mentor, and the trickster. They are how this deep psychology expresses itself on the stage of your life. The hero is the archetype of the ego, the eye of the story who must leave the familiar world, face trials, and return transformed. Every time you decide to change careers, start that terrifying conversation, or face down a fear, you are activating the hero within you. The narrative of your life is your hero's journey. So, what kind of hero are you? The reluctant hero, dragged into adventure? The willing hero, on a noble quest? Or the tragic hero whose own blind spots lead to their downfall? But no hero succeeds alone. They always need a mentor. The mentor is often an expression of the self, the wise sage archetype. It's the person, the book, the random YouTube video that gives you the map, the sword, the piece of wisdom you desperately need at the perfect time. Think about your life. Who have your mentors been? To acknowledge them is to acknowledge the grace that has guided you. And the story would be boring if it were a straight line. That's why every story needs a trickster. The trickster is the agent of chaos, the jester, The sudden plot twist that shatters your ego and your 5-year plan. The trickster is that disruptive friend who challenges your beliefs, or the unexpected layoff that turns your world upside down. While infuriating in the moment, the trickster is vital. It shatters stagnation. It forces us to grow, to adapt, to find a new way. When you start to see these patterns, you can analyze the story you're currently living. What role are you playing? Are you the hero of your own adventure? Or have you cast yourself as the perpetual victim waiting for a rescuer? Is there a mentor you're ignoring? Is there a trickster event you're fighting instead of learning its disruptive lesson? Seeing your life as a narrative shaped by these archetypes gives you incredible perspective. You stop being a passive character and become an active co-author. The true power of this knowledge lies in conscious integration. It's realizing you are not just owning archetype. You are the container for all of them. The goal isn't to be the hero 24/7. That's a recipe for burnout. The goal is to become psychologically flexible, to consciously call upon the right energy for the right situation, to summon the warrior when you need to set a boundary, the sage when you need to make a decision, the lover when you need to connect, the inner child when you need to play. You become whole. You become adaptable. You become truly powerful. So, let's bring this all home. Those repeating patterns in your life are not fate. They are the unconscious expression of archetypal scripts. That feeling of being trapped in a story is real. But the door to the author's room was never locked. It is inside you. By facing your shadow, you reclaim your stolen power. By connecting with your inner other, you find wholeness. By recognizing the story you're in, you gain the power to revise it. You stop being a character who simply reacts to the plot and become the author who directs it. This is the liberating promise of this work, to make the unconscious conscious, to turn what felt like an imposed destiny into a deliberate choice. It is the great journey from being a story that is told to becoming the storyteller. If this journey into the inner world speaks to you, subscribe for more. In our next video, we'll dive even deeper into the most challenging and rewarding part of this work, the shadow. We'll explore practical, safe techniques for how to actually talk to your own darkness and integrate the gold hidden within. And now, I'll leave you with a question. Look at the honest narrative of your life, right now. What archetype do you feel is running the show? Are you the hero, the martyr, the wanderer, the caregiver? Be honest with yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's begin the conversation.